The Deepseek panic fully set in the market yesterday. I'm recording this just the night after the market closed, so I don't know what the market's doing the day after when you're watching this. However, I would assume it's either maybe a little bit down, maybe a little bit up. Maybe it's continuing to panic, but even then more so what I'm going to say is going to even continue to apply. Most of this is going to be more opinionated from me, kind of what I think about the market and what I think about the situation rather than purely looking at numbers of companies, although we're going to do that as well too. And the first thing to address is just what DeepSeek itself is. It's just an AI copy similar to ChatGPT. Obviously, I'm not an expert on LLMs. If you really are curious about that, I would encourage you to find other videos on it specifically. But they claim to, and what I read in an article, that they were able to do this with only, $5 million in equipment and spending on it, which is just ridiculous on its face. Like, there's no way, maybe just the algorithm itself that actually the AI, but not the chips running the AI is possible. But we don't really know at this point because it's China and they don't tell us anything. So we don't really know. But the fact they would only spend $5 million on that, if that's true, well, honestly, if that were true, if you think about it, like sit there and think about it, if that were true, that doesn't mean that all this money going to AI is fake. That means our AI is just going to be that much incredibly better because we'll be able to find out how they did it. But it's just not true. It's just not. There's no way. It doesn't even make any sense. $5 million. But even then, you could put billions of dollars into it. Imagine how good the AI is going to be. And it's not like they have some secret magic formula we couldn't replicate because it's either hardware, which it isn't because they don't have the hardware, or it's an insane algorithm. That just doesn't even make any sense if you think about it. I'm not an expert on this, of course, but I do have a computer science degree background. I specialize in coding. You can't really make leaps that insane in that. That's not really how things work. But anyways, so I don't think in the long term it's that big of a deal. I don't think it nullifies any of the AI plays made by companies. Certainly doesn't nullify NVIDIA. If anything, it just makes them more important. There's theories that they're using NVIDIA chips for it. We don't really know at this point. But either way, the fact that they would spend only $5 million just on its face is ridiculous. So let's address NVIDIA first. They're one of the largest companies in the world. Almost all of you have some exposure to them, at least with the S&P 500. Many of you probably own them single stock directly. And if not, you're probably at least interested in what's happening with NVIDIA. And there is not there's 2 or 3 reasons I can understand why it's falling. One is the spook. Okay, you're getting spooked by it. AI, China thing, I don't know, I'm going to sell. That's one. But the 2 tangible ones I can understand. One is if there was actually an AI chip that China made, some company in China made, that's better. That makes no sense. And the reason it makes no sense is they don't have access to the highest nanometer technology. It's illegal to get it. There's some ways they could get it. They could sell it to this company that then sells it to a Chinese company. They give it to them, whatever. But generally, they're not allowed to have it. So and there's no evidence. They haven't said they've done it. They're probably just stealing NVIDIA chips or AMD chips, one or the other. Very, very likely. We don't know at this point. Anyone who says they know, I'm assuming, doesn't actually know, or you can't trust it 100%. But it makes no sense. It would be like, even if they somehow had the best researchers in the world, the best, GPUs in the world, which they don't. It's all concentrated in America, basically. Trust me, I work with product, which is Chinese made. Chinese semiconductor made, and it's not that good. It's really not. So, but even if they somehow, it just doesn't make any sense. They don't have the high-end technology. I'm trying to find an apt, a good comparison for it, or a good metaphor, but it's just like you don't have the tools and stuff. You just don't have the access to highs. So that doesn't make any sense. The other worry would be, okay, if they can do it this easily, they really can do it off of like $5 million. Then NVIDIA is defunct because you don't need to put all that money into it, which kind of makes sense. But if you think about it, well, it's not going to be like, oh, we have this way more efficient AI. Now we don't need to spend any money on it. No, that doesn't make any sense either. If it's that good and we can still put $10 billion into it, and it'll just be even that much better, even that much more efficient, even that much more durable. You would do that. At least that's how my brain thinks. Am I crazy for thinking that? Okay, well, we could just do it for 10 million. Yeah, but if you put 100x to that, imagine how much better it'd be. You may say, well, you only get marginally better. I don't think that's true because the use cases for AI and even LLMs, but AI in general, there's so much you can do with it. It's not just, I mean, imagine how much more efficient, because you can just store more and more and more and more from it. If it's this much more efficient with that data set with only $5 million put in, imagine if you're putting 100 billion. Now, of course, not an expert in LLMs. I have a coding background, but I don't understand all of it to the most minute detail, so I could be wrong on that, but that's my personal opinion. So I think This is a little bit of an overreaction, a little bit. But it's also interesting to see how the market is. And this just shows you this is why you should never, ever, ever, no matter how much you believe in a company, believe in a vision, go 100%. Now let's dive into the next one. TSM. This makes more sense to me. It makes more sense because if they make the high-end nanometer, okay, maybe they're going to be barred from selling anything to China, right? And you could say, okay, that makes sense. That's some of their money. Okay, how much of the revenue is it? What I looked up and I got the result from AI, I didn't dig too deeply, but it's probably true. Only 11 to 13% roughly of TSM's revenue goes directly to China. So then you think about it, right? Okay, well, if 11 to 13% of the revenue goes to China, they fell 13%. Well, now we have currently priced in that every cent that we get from China is gone. All right, there you go. Is that a bit of an overreaction? Probably, and it probably is. Why? Because one, they don't sell the most advanced stuff to China. Anyways, they're barred from it. They're not supposed to. They could be. I highly doubt it. It's not like Taiwan and China are the best of terms, and Taiwan is very closely affiliated, or TSM is very closely affiliated with Taiwan, believe it or not. So that doesn't make much sense. But even if they're barred from almost all of it, which you would assume, even like there's some of that stuff, like the 20 nanometer stuff, it's basically embedded, which means it's not advanced stuff, like microwave tier stuff. You don't need advanced AI chips. There's no reason they should get banned from that. You can't make the cutting edge stuff with it. But even if you assumed all of that was banned, it's only 11 to 13%. So you would assume it's entirely priced in. But even then, I would be shocked if they didn't have 2 to 3% at least of that revenue. From 11 to 13 to 2 to 3% of revenue still going to China, because it just doesn't. Some of that stuff is just like super, super basic. So it would be really weird to see it all disappear. Now, the next observation I'm making is one that's not really directly associated with it, although Arista Networks roughly is. And you hear me, if you've watched my videos, I know I have some of you out there, maybe 20 to 30 of you that watch most of my videos, which awesome. Thumbs up to you, you guys are awesome. Appreciate you so much. But you hear me say, okay, this is a higher PE stock in a recession, you're going to hear it fall more, right? You're going to see it fall more. I say that in almost all the videos. Or this is a value stock, you're going to see it hold its value better. And you hear that it can kind of go in one ear and out the other. You don't really put it two and two together. And yes, I know ANET is a little bit closer associated with it, but you can see with other stocks, specifically smaller market cap ones. I know ANET isn't that, but you can see it with the higher PE stocks. You can see it with Fabrinet, FN ticker. You can see it with Flex, FLEX. You can see it with some of those smaller, more Vertiv is getting crushed, but they're a little bit more AI associated. But same thing, high growth is certainly one predicate on this history. You've just seen them get 22%. What? 22% off of news that doesn't directly associate the company. I looked it up. I'm pretty sure there's nothing else news. But even if it was with this one specifically, this company was defunct. Okay, they had some earnings and come out that I just didn't see. You can see it with other companies. Scroll through a long ticker list. You'll see some down 15%, 20%, 30%. I think Vertiv was like 28%. That is why. This is what I'm saying when I say, okay, this is a higher PE stock. There's more inherent risk baked into it. Does that mean the company's going to do worse? No. But the market assumes that the company is going to do worse because XYZ, even if it's not true. So in the short term, stock prices can get hit. So look through your list, look through your single stock list and say, okay, this is how, assume, certainly if it's not directly AI associated, but you can see, okay, this is how the market views the stock. This is how the market views the stock, and you can do it vice versa. You can do it in Vici and Cigna. Vici, this is an example for me. So I bought it. I just so happened to buy it basically right here. I put more money into the stock market every 2 to 3 months. Just so happened to time it low. I think anything for Vici under 30, certainly a buy. And then I bought here. This just so happened when I had money. And then we're up 3% today. And I was like, you know what? I'll put some of that money back into tech. I think it's a decent buy right now too. I like Vici. I hold plenty of it. I just put a little extra in because I thought it was cheap. And when it goes back up, sold a little bit. It's just a little swing trade. I don't really trade, but I was fine holding that forever, sideways under 30. So the end of time, just getting that 6% dividend. That's a nice dividend. But diversification into value is important. And you now look, scroll through your stock tickers. Do you have too much in high growth tech? High growth tech is awesome. I own high growth tech. I love TSM. I own a lot of it. It's not super fun seeing it down 13%, although you have to control your emotions and understand, okay, market's just overreacting here, or why is it thinking this? But it's important to have value. Same with Cigna, CI. I haven't done particularly well on it, at least recently. right? It's kind of gone flat since what, 2022-ish, 2024. We're not near all-time highs. Not even really close. You're at what, 360? But it had a great day. And had a great day. And why did it have a great day? Because tech was getting slaughtered, and people were moving money from ANET and TSM and Nvidia, and they didn't want that capital just sitting. They didn't think it was going to be a long-term correction. They just threw it in a value stock. That's how the market operates. View it. Yes, these days aren't fun. Yes, they're somewhat scary. Understand how the market works. Paint this into the picture of how you understand the market and adjust accordingly so you feel comfortable when these things happen. Now, if there's an actual recession, day one, day two, these value stocks are not going up. They are going to go down, right? They're going to go down almost as much, but there will come a day, even in a recession, when money, big money, realizes, okay, probably the bottom, then money will start slowly pouring into everything, but certainly into the value stocks first. And even then, certainly with something like a Vici or a utility company, you don't even really have to worry about it, even if the share price is down, because you're still getting good value from it in the form of a dividend. Just check and see, are you well positioned? Do you feel comfortable? Do you have enough in value? Do you even, hey, maybe I'm too much in value. I wouldn't mind taking a little bit more risk. I mean, on a day like this, I doubt you're saying that, but maybe you are. I moved some money from Vici. I moved it into some tech. On a day it was down 20%. I view it as a buying opportunity. But just check where you're at. Check where you're at, right? Make sure you're comfortable with what you're in. Get it balanced. Feel comfortable with it, because there will come a day. Predicting it now, wow. There will come a day. I don't know when it is. There will be a recession. Everything's going to be dumping. Everyone's going to be freaking out. I'm going to be well positioned. Not perfect. No one can be perfectly positioned unless you're all cash and then you're losing forever on inflation. But there will come a time when there will be a downside. There will be a recession. There's going to be plenty of people, maybe some of you are watching this video, that are not well positioned enough into value. Growth and tech is awesome. There will come a day, and people are going to be freaking out, and everyone's going to be dumping. Everyone's going to be mad at me because I'm going to be saying, hey, don't freak out. And they're going to be like, what do you mean don't freak out? I'm down 40% on my ETFs. I'm down 80% on my Arista networks. You're saying it is a buy. Why would you do that? Well, I wasn't really saying it was buy. I'm saying it could be a buy if you wanted to. But anyways, I'm predicting the future now. I can see it. I can see absolute turmoil in my comments. My comment section is awesome. All you guys are awesome. I don't get that many comments, but all of them are positive. But anyways, I think I've gone on for too long. You guys get what I'm saying. Kind of a different video for me. I usually go more specific to a topic. You get to see maybe a little bit more of my personality. I don't know. But I appreciate all of you for watching. If you enjoyed, I like it when you like and subscribe. It helps me out. And it motivates me to keep making content to help you guys out, hopefully a little bit. But anyways, I'll catch you next time.